Hello, beautiful people. It's Mai here from Nintendo Life. And I think I have a little bit of a controversial topic at hand. Some might not like it, some might very much agree with me. I think that with the recent Nintendo Direct, State of Play, Xbox Showcase, Summer Games Fest, all the showcases that have been happening recently, and obviously the 1 year anniversary of the Switch 2, I feel like the Switch 2 is a direct competitor to the PS5, Xbox, PC handhelds, all that jazz. And for very good reason. You see, I grew up playing a lot of handhelds, including the Game Boy, and also including the lovely Switch, which was my companion for several years, and now is very sadly gathering dust on the shelf. However, since getting my now very girly popped Switch 2, I am absolutely blown away by the sheer graphics, the performance that they've had since its predecessor. A lot of people might argue as to why you should get a Switch 2 versus a PC handheld. Well, there's a lot of reasons here. The first one being affordability. The Switch 2 costs far less than your average handheld, and this is coming from someone who owns a PC handheld. I have the Asus ROG Xbox Ally, just the box standard one, not the X, the fancy schmancy one. And yes, it runs really well. It's a great little device. I really love it, and I've been really happy since I bought it. However, compared to the Switch 2, it's not as simple as a pop in and play or boot up and play. With the PC handhelds, there is a lot of finagling. They do cost a heck of a lot more, especially with things like the Steam Deck. You know, the price going up by $300, 200-ish odd pounds, which is absolutely bonkers. Now you can buy two Switch 2s for the price of one Steam Deck, just the 512 gig edition. And it's just ludicrous. Even after the price goes up for the Switch 2 in September, it's still going to be cheaper buying two Switch 2s compared to a Steam Deck. If I want to play, let's say I own Resident Evil Requiem on PC, aka my PC handheld, and I own it on my Switch 2. If I want to play it on my PC handheld, I'm going to have to fiddle around with the settings, and I've got to make sure that it doesn't eat up the battery too much. I've got to make sure all these other applications are closed. I've got to make sure that I have, VSync off, and change the resolution and all that kind of fiddliness, which I think the bog standard average consumer might stress out about. I'm quite lucky that I've grown up with PCs for most of my life. I am semi-familiar with PC handhelds in this regard. And also, like my other half, he's quite good at helping me out with that kind of stuff if I'm really stuck. Whereas something like the Switch 2, aka the one that I have girly popped right here to nobody's end, you can literally just download a game, have it ready on the eShop, or something that I'm most likely going to do, grab a cartridge, stick it in, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. You've got a game you can play straight away rather than having to fiddle around with the settings too much. And I am aware that the Switch 2 also has the handheld boost mode, which is really excellent as well if you've got Switch 1 games and you want to kind of up the resolution and improve it a lot more so it kind of meets the Switch 2 standards. My other argument as well with PC handhelds versus the Switch 2 is that PC handhelds cost so much money. I mentioned that the Steam Deck is twice the price of one Switch 2, but that's just the start of it. You have things like the Lenovo Legion Go 2, which are about $2,000. You have the Xbox ROG Ally X, which is about £800, give or take. And you have countless of other PC handhelds on the market. So aside from affordability and the fact that it's a bit more consumer friendly, the Switch 2 wins in this regard. Another reason why I feel like the Switch 2 is also a direct competitor to the likes of the PS5 and the Xbox is because since the directs and everything over the last week, Summer Games Fest, State of Play, Xbox, Nintendo Direct, all that jazz, there's a lot of third-party games which are coming to Switch 2, which ended up me being pleasantly surprised every time I saw the little Switch 2 logo pop up on the screen. We recently had Resident Evil Requiem come to the Switch 2 along with PS5 and PC, and now we have Resident Evil Veronica coming to the Switch 2 on the same day. We have Kingdom Hearts 4 coming on the same day, and potentially loads of other games as well. And even Call of Duty is coming to the Switch too, which is something I never thought would happen anytime soon. So now I don't have to save up for the latest console or save up for component parts for my PC just so I can play a particular game. I can play Resident Evil Code Veronica on my Switch 2 without having to worry about upgrading other systems or getting new consoles. How fantastic is that? Also, I feel like a lot of people don't have the luxury to go out and buy whatever console they want or buy the newest handheld PC or even with RAM shortages, if you're primarily just a PC gamer, if you want to upgrade your PC to go and play the latest game, you can't. However, if you have a Switch 2, which again is a lot cheaper than other systems, you can still play these games. I honestly feel like now with all the third-party games being released on the Switch 2, it's kind of a bit of a no-brainer for me to play them on my Switch 2 so I have the option to kind of play it wherever I want. And I know it deep in my bones that these are also going to perform absolutely beautifully. I mean, for example, look at Resident Evil Requiem on the PS5 versus the Switch 2. It's not day and night. They look both as good as each other. In terms of actual games though, yes, they have their first party games on there, which of course you're gonna have that. In the console wars, you will always have a game that is PC or Xbox or PlayStation or Switch only. I mean, gone are the days now where I would look at a game, Silent Hill is popping into my head, Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill Townfall, and because it's licensing, I know it's probably unlikely it'll come to Nintendo Switch 2, but I still feel like there is still a possibility. You know, who knows, maybe one day I'll be playing Silent Hill F on my Switch 2, maybe in a couple of years, or playing it on like the next Switch console. But I feel more hopeful now. At least now I can play more of my Resis on the go, which I'm very, very happy with this. It always comes at right a surprise when games like this come to a handheld like the Switch 2, considering that in my opinion, the Switch 1 was always a bit of the butt of the joke when it came to other systems. People would always say, oh, why would I want to play that on the Switch 1 when I could play it on my PS5 on high resolution? It won't crash, it won't do this, blah, blah, blah. I can counter that argument. Portability. I now have the chance to play those games on a hybrid console that still performs really well docked and really well undocked. But to me, it's the portability that is a huge thing for me. As I said, I grew up playing a lot of handhelds, so having the Switch 2, being able to play something like, again, Resident Evil Code Veronica or even Liza P on the go, whether I'm on a work trip or a holiday or just going to the park, I can play these games anywhere. It's a little bit difficult grabbing my PS5 or my desktop PC and just kind of go and sit on a park bench and set it all up and play the latest PS5 game. It doesn't work, people. Or really in the most common scenario, because I don't really go on holiday, is if my cat is acting up and wants attention or wants to go up for a nap, I can take my Switch 2, go upstairs and cuddle with him in bed until I need to sneak back downstairs and put it in docked mode. With the Switch 2, however, I can take it anywhere with me, including taking the dock as well, because it's teeny tiny. It's tiny compared to other systems. Aside from like the portability aspect and, you know, the cost effectiveness when it comes to the Switch 2, performance-wise, it looks absolutely fantastic. Yes, there are some games that maybe will chug a little bit, but on a portability standpoint, or even with the console itself, I think it stands above the rest. We may not have the Switch Pro that we wanted, or a Switch 2 Pro anytime soon. So I think what we've got is as good as it gets, and I'm really, really happy with that. And although I have mentioned a lot of third-party games, some people might argue that there aren't enough first-party games coming out, and that the first year of the Switch 2 life was a little bit quiet. But hey, it's the second year, the first year was teething, and I honestly feel like the Switch 2 is gonna be bounds above the rest. Look at other consoles and look at other systems that had their first year that didn't really hit as hard as they hoped. and now they are swinging harder than ever. I know this sounds like a bit of a Switch 2 love letter, but I can't help but feel enthusiastic about the Switch 2's future, especially as the first year was a little bit quiet on the game release side, especially on the third-party side of it all. But we still had a lot of heavy hitters come out. We had Cyberpunk 2077, as I will always scream to the rooftops how beautiful it looks on the Switch 2. When I got my Switch 2, I got Cyberpunk 2077, and every time I booted it up and I kept playing and going through Night City, I couldn't help but repeat myself, oh my god, this is actually on a Switch 2. Even my partner, who has played Cyberpunk on PC at like high performance specs, even he was quite surprised it was playing on the Switch 2 so nicely. I'm not really sure what else to say aside from the fact that the console is incredibly affordable. You have affordable accessories. You're able to play 2 players straight out the box by removing the Joy-Cons, you know, like, see, just there you go. Oh, you've got 1 player. You've got 2 players. You can go play Mario Kart together. So unless you want to fork out 50, 60, potentially 70 quid on an extra controller, your best bet playing multiplayer, locally anyway, is with the Switch 2. And again, although I don't really play multiplayer games or co-op games all that much, at least I have the possibility now. So to me, I guess the Switch 2 is not only a direct competitor, but also it's got more possibilities than other consoles and PC handhelds and whatnot. But that's just my ramblings for the day. Why don't you let me know in the comments below if you agree and think that the Switch 2 is a direct competitor and why? And if you don't, well, let me know in the comments anyway as to why you don't think the Switch 2 is a direct competitor. And while you're at it, why don't you go into direct competition with that subscribe button and check out nintendolife.com for more lovely Nintendo bits and bobs. In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching and have a good one. Bye!